Greetings and welcome back to Goosebumps HorrorTown playthrough of the Shop Till You Drop Dead event that is still needing to be done. This is part 4 and the last one, might I add, and it's been a few days since I've recorded the third part and second part, so things have happened since then. Since time has passed. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the final conclusion to this and just talk about some information that may have come by, anything that comes into mind. And near the end, I will also be taking a review of this overall, and then basically just giving my overall thoughts and telling you what might be coming up after this video has been aired onto my channel. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. So when we last left off, we were the kids basically found out Reggie's true form, and in this part we are now going to find out where we continue from there. So we're going to start off with Marty.
What the? You're huge! I'm getting out of here! Ah!
Is that a giant monster chasing Marty away?
I don't know, Lucy, but I don't want to find out. Run!
That's right, you little brats. Run! If I catch you here one more time, I'll make it your last.
I hate having to use my true form on them. Oh well.
You
Make sure you don't let anyone in.
are out.
Got it. Yeah, I'm playing around with the sound effects there, so apologies on that. But yeah, there you go. That part's done. So we're going to continue off with this chaos that's going on in the town. I don't remember where I last left off or where that thing came up, but yeah. People are in panic mode because of this. Anyways, let me click on some stuff here and then continue.
Marty! What did you do?
Wasn't my fault. That guy turned into a monster right in front of me.
Guys, yelling at each other won't get us anywhere. We have to figure out what he is so we can find a way to stop him.
Lucy's right. There's no point in arguing right now. Although, that creature, he looked so familiar.
Well, there's one way to find out what we are dealing with. To the books!
To the library! Place the abandoned gingerbread house, obtain some Blastoape chimes, 3 of them, and obtain Goosebumps board games. So there you go with that. The board games, I've already mentioned how you can get them. The one character can actually drop them pretty much fine. Blastoapes, again, another character can do that just fine. So if you have the Granny and the Halloween character, Chiller, and you're all set, you don't have to do that type of stuff. So all you need to really do is just place down the abandoned thingy, and you're good to go. Yeah, so I'm trying to think what I forgot to mention during this part. Not this part, but like special information that you might want to know. I think I briefly talked about some of the designs I've decided to do with some of the items collected here. But, you know, it was actually kind of fun to have an experience to be able to make this. And then he's just playing with his toys, so I won't be able to use him just yet. But just know he's going to go and get the Goosebump board game. Like, right here. I'm going to continue off with this.
Yay, just what I've asked for. But let's not get too distracted. Everything seems to be ready for Father's new mall's grand opening. I'll just throw in some deals and make the citizens feel like they're getting a good sale.
Soon enough, all this town's profits will go right into our pockets. I might even be rewarded with a second yacht I always wanted.
Now that HorrorTown is getting its new mall, I wonder what horrors will await us all.
Yeah, I wonder that too with the rise of the Krampus, but let's find out what we have planned, shall we? Shoppers have started coming out in drones, but they're not buying nearly enough. This is where Mr. Wood's plans come in. He's provided me with a secret formula to hypnotize the population, so they wouldn't be so shy about spending anymore. Place the abandoned Santa statue, place the tree for sale sign, and obtain some of the hypno. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to talk about this. These 2 items are probably the worst to get. The one we're going to look at is the Shop Till You Drop Hypnotizer. This is the second worst. Not as bad, but in order to get it, no, we're not going to look at that. In order to get this, you'll need at least a few of 3 of the Laugh-O-Matics, 3 of the things, and then 2 of the coal. The coal is going to be the hardest one, but as you can see, not a lot for the coal, so you're pretty much okay. The only problem is the Laugh-O-Matic. The Laugh-O-Matic is going to be the most pain in the butt to get. And Jonathan is probably going over here to get me that one item I need, which is the board game, right? Yep, so he's going to find his fortune with Madame Doom, who, by the way, it would be interesting to see her back again on Valentine's Day, because I think she always appeared there. Anyway, 16 days since the last time we've checked on the date that's passed, and now a new deal has popped up. I believe this is during the Christmas season. So we got the Merry Christmas pack. The Merry Christmas pack basically shows you this right here. All the stuff you can get is shown here. The only 2 exceptions is that you can also get Claus as well as Reggie. So if you didn't get the Reggie pack before, this is the pack you can get now. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with the Santa throne, so keep this in mind. Anyways, now that we're done that, we're going to get this here and continue on with the story of what Reggie is.
I can't find anything on this monster. It's something I haven't even seen before.
Hey, I found him. He's right here in this book.
The humbug that ruined Christmas? Marty, that's a children's book.
Wait, now I remember where I saw him before. He's some kind of Krampus monster. When I was little, my grandmother told me a story about a monster that steals from bad little boys and girls. When Santa gives, Krampus takes away.
Just like in the movie!
We have to get the others to stop getting rid of these Christmas decorations, or else this town's doomed.
Worse than that, we won't have any presents for Christmas. What? It's true, isn't it?
Marty, could you not think of yourself at a time like this? We have to figure a plan for...
Hey, is that Dustin running towards us?
Ah! Get this crazy backpack off me!
Ah, the crazy backpack strikes again. Alright, so you get some candy canes, some reefs, and some other items, the bags, I believe. So, again, very easy to grab. It's a little bit of a... this is the one thing I like about the narrative, was because I wanted to make it fit with the story. Like, the task you're doing is fitting with the story's lore as well as other stuff. And it makes sense in a way of what's going on here. That's one of the things I liked about designing the narrative, as well as the designing the items. I had no hand, though, of what characters dropped in all that stuff. That wasn't done by me. That was the people who were working on this game. And it's interesting now. I'm kind of curious to see what the new art guy, the lead designer, has in store for this game, because I think he was responsible for the January's update that happened. It's not a big thing, mind you. And I might be talking about that briefly about... Actually, I might not be talking about that. I might be talking about something else coming up during the other video I have planned. It's not going to be too big, mind you. It's going to be something, but yeah. And recently, I've actually been looking at a few things. I've been into these whole anthology horrors, as you may call it. If you don't know what the anthology means, it's basically short stories in one big narrative. So, when you think of an anthology horror movie, it's basically a few short stories kind of pit into one big narrative. So, a good example of this is Trick or Treats. The whole thing was based on a few stories, but they're all connected in one narrative, which is that of Halloween. And if you're looking for anthology series, one of them, as of right now, or 2 of them I should say, one of them is Creepshow, which has just been renewed for Shudder. That's an interesting topic. And the other one is something on Hulu called, I think it's Hulu, called Into the Dark. And that one is interesting because it's based on holidays, which is a weird, why is it called Into the Dark when it's basically, like, a missed opportunity to call it Holidays of Horror, but okay, whatever, fine. But that one's like movies. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and buy the Creepy Hand. That's the advertising to... okay, so about the Creepy Hand. So this was based off of the Krampus poster, that you could call it that. But the actual guy in the middle there, you can tell that that's based off of The Thing. Namely, I think it's the Wes Craven version, not the original one. I think it's Wes Craven who did that. Yeah, so you can see that right there. The whole creepy hand. I love the fact that it's a disembodied hand, by the way. Like really. And then I've just made it look like the hand's coming out of the house, because that's creepy. I like how I did that. Anyways, with this, we should be done with one of the story's narratives, which is the main one, so let's find out now.
There. At least we managed to recover some of these decorations.
Hey, you two. I know how you can take down that Krampus and save town for good.
A talking doll? I don't know. What if it's a tramp sent by the Krampus himself?
Oh, trust me, kid. I know exactly what his weakness is. Now, are you interested or not?
A wild Slappy appeared. What does he want?
Okay, Slappy. We've collected a whole bunch of toys and made them into a huge pile here. Just like you said.
You better not be lying to us.
Relax, Missy. If he's a real Krampus, there's no way he can't smell these many toys from a mile away. And when he arrives, we'll be waiting for him with a present he'll never forget. Made from his very own creepy toys. And with just an added pinch of hilarity.
I'm not sure what your plan is, but I sure hope you're right this time.
Place the icy willow, obtain the heart attack backpack, obtain shop till you drop hypnotizers. Okay, so now I can continue on with the stories because this is what I was waiting for, those shop till you drop hypnotizers. Now, I can get this because this is going to accomplish two things. It's going to accomplish the other story and this one. But god dang, the heart attack backpack is the worst item to grab because of the amount it needs. So not only do you need the haunting shopping cart, but then you need 5 of the coal. And my god, does the coal just suck when it comes to the drop rates. The 65% is just awful. And I feel like, and here's the thing, I'm going to defend the company on this one. I didn't think they had enough time to kind of wanting to fix it. Well, I think what they did was they kind of copied and pasted 14 days left, so basically almost a week. What I think what happened is that, oh yeah, no, I don't want that. What I think happened is that they took the same kind of mechanic that was back in the previous Christmas, and they turned it into what it is now. So they just copied that and pasted it onto here. Had they had more time, or had they had an actual designer who knew what they were doing in the game, not someone, you know what I mean, like, I feel like if they had more time with this, they probably could have actually fixed it out and actually make the economy a little bit more better and less grindy. I think what the company is doing right now is they're trying to play around with making it plausible to get stuff, but also a bit of a challenge, so it kind of keeps us occupied. So if it's like short, like, oh, free updates, they're going to be like that. Also, this is my update for the Spirit of Christmas Tree. Not really anything to write home about. So a day has passed, and no. One of the things I wanted to do, in this part, we should be done. I believe this will be Reggie's story, so we're going to get to the final part for him right here. Once we pick up, I believe it's going to be... Oh, it's a backpack. Okay, so it's not that. Okay, it's the icy willow, that's what it is. Alright, let's put this bad boy down. I love the creepy tree I found like this creepy tree and I thought, oh, you know what would be cool? An icy willow tree with a face. Because we need more creepy wintry stuff. So I'm like, yeah, let's put that here. Mix in with creepy winter stuff and some pop culture stuff. Also, the octopuses are still around.
So this is where the strong scent is coming from. Hold on. Are those presents?
Hey, Reggie, there's a present here with your name on it.
Oh boy, it must be from Father. I hope it's what I asked for. Wait a minute. What the? Ah!
I always love hearing Reggie sounding like a kid. Monster voice.
A glitter bomb? You little brats. When I will... Why am I laughing?
Slappy was right. You are ticklish.
What is that laughter? Why am I... Wait, what is this? Did I buy a bunch of cardboard? Whoa, where am I? I can't remember any... Ew, what am I wearing?
What's this bill doing in my... I spent how much? Where's that manager?
Attention shoppers, for all complaints and returns, follow the laughter of the owner as he ripped you suckers off big time. Have a nice day. Obtain the big refund, play the old tavern scene, and play some gingerbread couple. I had fun with that dialogue. Oh, okay. So the reason why what happened there, originally, because in the story, one of the endings was you tickled the monster, and he's like, okay, you win the bet. But then it was considered a bad ending because they found out you were up all night on the school night of all things. So, whoa. But you survived, so, but it's considered a bad ending. But, yeah, so I took that idea, and I'm like, well, how can we stop the monster? I know, let's have him basically come out of because in the beginning, he was kind of getting everyone into the mall, and once he was in the mall, he was kind of observing everything. So, they basically distracted him long enough to be out of the mall, to the point where the actual people waking up and found out that the items that they were grabbing from the store weren't real. They were actually just lowbrow cardboard crap. Like, think of like fake stuff that you see in like stores, like you're like trying to like a prop shop, like making it seem like it's a real thing, but it's not. It's like fake products and fake stuff. That's what this is. That's why the mannequins look like employees, because in their minds they think it is employees, but they're not. Right? They're actually mannequins. And hence why they... Yeah, that was the idea with the mannequins, where they wanted to make them look like employees, but also, if they question it, it'll be like, oh, no, they're just statues, They're just advertising clothes, And I had fun with the dialogue with that one. Especially since, and I'm trying to think what was I about to say. Yeah, so, the Slappy talking in the PA system, let's just say that. And I had to look online to find any mall kind of dinging noises, like the attention shoppers, So I had to figure something out. I found something, so I thought, okay, this will work. And I figured this would be a way for the townspeople to basically get rid of the Reggie kid. In lore, you could probably say that he basically built a mansion on the side where he's like, well, I guess I'll sit here for now, kind of deal. Where it's funny how, okay, then there's gonna be a quest coming up where it says hide for a while. I believe that is why it's considered that, the hide for a while stuff. Update for the Spirit of Christmas Tree thing. Yeah, so this will be somewhat interesting. So Merry Christmas. Oh yeah, and this is what I wanted to show off, is that this is what it looks like, what I've missed when it came to the actual, the Christmas pack, what I talked about before, the two characters. That was the only difference added there. And with this, we should be... I think this is for the main story. Yeah, so this will be in the main story. So after I put this down, we'll be done with the main story, and all we have to do now is Reggie's quest, which is going to be a little bit harder to do because you're about to find out we're going to need some of the backpacks. And yeah, I'll talk more about that after I put these cute couples down somewhere. Yeah, let's put them right over here. There we go. Perfect.
You little brats. I'll make you regret the day you make me look like an idiot.
Hey, there he is.
We demand our money back now, you snake oil salesman.
You single-handedly ruined Christmas. The nerve keeping me away from my family. On Christmas! Everyone, let's give this Krampus a super joy holiday fright of his life.
Top Tier Drop Dead is finally complete. Now the sting makes sense, and that's why she's called Mar, because that's what she says. She says Mar all the time. Of course! That's a slogan after all. Yeah. Okay, what? Yeah. And if you actually, and this is the thing, I think people are gonna watch this more because the ending to this, if you got Reggie during this quest line, there is an ending with him here that kind of explains what happened after the fact, because it's like, oh well, they basically chased them out, right? Well, it ends it pretty fluently. And it also answers the question of how the hell Flashy the Flasher. Oh! Amazon. Adobe Flash, no. Slappy, not Flashy. Jesus. Yes, so I got all the... Now I don't have to do the big refund. Yeah, so everything else I have to do, so that's going to take a while. Come get your trees. This is the next quest here. Need tin can, telephones, all that stuff, so I might as well find some time to go get it. And, yeah, so you can tell I'm taking my time with getting all this stuff here. I'm going to turn this on because I need this, so make it my life easier. Yeah, but this also explains how Slappy got into this and how he figured out what he can... Okay, so originally in the story, he figures out, when it comes to Slappy, what's going on, because originally he, because he's the kind of character that has a say in the town. Originally he was figuring out why everyone wasn't there, right? So he finds this mall out and discovers what was going on behind the scenes of his brother basically gloating in like the true villain fashion of gloating in the open, like a dummy that he is. And he figured, okay, well, now I know how to get him. And he figured what his weakness was, which was presence, because he has a vice of opening gifts. And the other one is the fact that I'm gonna guess it's because of his fur that he is ticklish. And yeah, and it can also be a reference to a Tickle Me Elmo if you so wish to. I guess because Tickle Me Elmo at 1 year during the 90s was the big hot toy back then, and oh man, everyone need to grab one. I actually remember, I think I had the original Elmo Tickle Me toy. I don't know why I got one of those, but I just did. Not only that, but I also got the other Tickle Me characters. Like, I think there was Big Bird, Ernie, and then Cookie Monster. I think the Cookie Monster one I liked better because Cookie Monster was my man. He was the guy I liked the most. Just because he was the more funnier one. Yeah, weird stuff there. I think I'm not sure exactly what makes it so. Yeah, so anyways, I'm gonna be talking a little bit more near the end of this, but I'm going to figure out what's gonna come up next, and it's gonna be somewhat of a reflection of what happened this year. Or 2019, I should say. We're now in 2020, but back then, right now with this video, 2019. And we're going to take a look at the year as a whole. I won't be touching much on the actual events here because, honestly, if you've seen my reviews, you probably already know where this will lie. So I'll talk briefly on them, but it's going to be focusing on the other updates that weren't they were permanent content, basically, so it wasn't like limited time stuff. But I will briefly touch on some of the stuff here when it comes to some of the subject matter. Yeah, so there'll be that kind of stuff there. For the most part, though, besides, and I'm going to bring this up in the review, but besides some minor things, I think a lot of people liked how this event turned out. And it was hard for me because I needed to make sure I was going to get a lot of the information that I needed. Because of the conflict of interest thing, I wanted to be as fair as possible, so I wanted to look online on Facebook and all the other social media platforms as well as some of the groups and see if I can't talk to somebody or talk to some people to see whether or not they can give me an answer of what was happening, or not really what happening, but what was good and what was bad about it. And I usually do these kind of survey stuff. And the reasoning for them was so that I get a good opinion on most people's, like, getting the answers I want out of people, if that makes sense. And it helps me a lot with these reviews, because then I can take a look at them and think, okay, like, I know personally what was good and what was bad, but then it also might highlight some things that I never thought before, and it might give me an idea of where this thing deserves to be placed on my, in my opinion, top list of what was the best and what was the worst. And honestly, it's going to be interesting to talk about, like, because what ended up being the best event this year was very surprising to my end, because it's one of those things where you don't really think about that was a like normally you would think that the easiest choice would be a Halloween one, but as we saw so far from the last event stuff, that wasn't the case. It was something completely different. So it's like, wow, okay. I'm just watching the monsters just attacking people because I'm just so obsessed over them. I guess also thinking, yeah, so I'm also waiting on this. Also, I love the Abandoned Santa statue. Again, you could thank Abandoned Santa's Village for all these ideas. Yeah, let's just make a creepy Santa statue, because that fits HorrorTown, in my opinion, with the green moss. It looks like it's Duncan. Ready? Now there won't be any resisting my never-ending thriving sales.
And every single dime of theirs will go out of their pocket banks and into my pockets.
Oh, so this is where Slappy found out everything going on here.
Must keep buying. Must not miss sale. Must... Hey, what's going on? Where am I?
Hey, I didn't buy all this. Where is that little scammer?
There he is. Let's get him a good scare.
Ah! I hate this town! Daddy!
Drat. The hypnotizer didn't last that long. Oh well, at least no one realized I was behind this whole thing. Hello, brother.
Uh-oh, you got caught with your pants down! Yeah, so hide from home for a while for 14 hours, and this is where the problem comes in, where you need bags. Here's the thing, where my backpack level is, I need 5, but realistically, I don't need that much. In fact, if I'm going for the backpack stuff, I will actually get the grand prize before I finish this quest. Yeah, that's always fantastic to see, in my opinion. So fantastic. Yeah, I actually do like the little Photoshop, not the Photoshop, but the little edit they had to do with like, this is something I didn't even think. This must have been a last minute thing. I love how they put the goggles, the Shop to Drop goggles, and put it on top of Mrs. Dark. It's like, oh, we need something. Alright, here you go. Put it on there. There you go. Now we got to see what they look like. And, you know, I actually liked, and again, I think one of the characters I showed off was Megan, because I thought she's the type of girl, the type of cheerleader kind of, oh my god, you know, the Valley Girl stereotype kind of deal. And a lot of these characters, by the way, are somewhat kind of stereotypical in a sense. And the funny thing about them is that they have, like, Goosebumps as a whole, and the branding is supposed to be something scary, but has a bit of a campy feel. So they're not that scary, but they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, so I got all the hypnotizers now, so I have to do the heart attack backpack, which gave everybody a heart attack, might I add. Like a very appropriate name. Heart attack backpack, man, it gives me a heart attack, like, kind of deal. So that's where I'm at now. And I think in this part, I'm going to get all the other items I need. I ended up buying a few multiples just because I didn't want any of, you know, I thought, well, I don't want one, I want two, right? One to play with, and one to save for later for value, for reselling value. No, but and the other thing too is when I was coming up with ideas for decorations, one of the things I wanted to do was something to fit with the Goosebumps feel, but also kind of have a bit of the seasonal with it. So one of the ideas was finding this weird contraption, the Frosty Blast ride, and my initial thought when I was doing this in October was, oh, maybe because we have Horrorland coming in, maybe we can add this to the Horrorland. So, like, we can add little bits and pieces of the things there. And, yeah, how appropriate my last item to get is that of the Goosebumps kiosk. With all the Goosebump books. This is the most meta item in this game. The fact that it's like... It's going to be like the never-ending story. They're going to open, like, Lucy's going to open up the book of, like, the girl who cried monster, and he's like, wait a minute, that's me! I'm reading this book right now! It's going to be the Double Dragon in the Double Dragon movie scenario all over again. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there was a movie, like, there was during the 80s, I think it's the 80s, 90s, time when they decided to turn video games into movies. There was one that was made by for Double Dragon, which was a very popular arcade game. And what was funny about it is, in the movie, at some point, they come across a Double Dragon. Like, I know what they were doing. It was a little nod, but I'm like, how contradicting is that? It's like coming across a video game art. Like, you know what it is? It's like if Scott Pilgrim versus the World, right? That movie. Imagine that in the background, someone is playing Scott Pilgrim vs. the World by Ubisoft, which, by the way, is a really cool, awesome beat-em-up game with the art style of the actual comic book. Unfortunately, you can't play that right now. You can't play it at all because of the copyright reasons. Because here's a problem, and this is the issue when it comes to stuff like this, like especially for this. All right, so in this case. This game itself, it's owned by two people as far as I know. The first one is Pixowl because they're the ones who actually made the game. But the second people is Scholastics because they own the Goosebumps IP. So in order to say in the future, in order to get something done, so like say for example why GoldenEye 007 weren't really coming into anything or getting re-released. It's because you have to go to the copyright holder of the GoldenEye, then you have to get a copyright holder for Nintendo, then you have to get a copyright holder to that of a Rare because they were the ones who made the game. So you get this whole kind of consuit of what happened. And here's the other reason too. Speaking of the whole copyright stuff, this is why Tales from the Crypt by M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong was never actually made. So what ended up happening was they ended up making the announcement, but they didn't get all the paperwork done. And what ended up happening was there were some rights that was owned still by HBO, mostly the puppet of the Tales from the Crypt Keeper. So because of that, we ended up not actually getting a reboot, and they had to cancel it. And the reason why was because of copyright holder reasons. And I finally, after a few months, this game's gone long. Oh man, I've been too much in time. I need only one of the backpacks, so not so much. So finally got that done. But I still need to do 3 of it. And you know what? The reason... Here's a stupid thing about that. Apparently, there was some occasions where I didn't save the game properly. So what ended up happening was the game ended up copying or saving certain copies. Yeah, 5 more days left. So you can tell I was really taking my time with this. Anyways, what ended up happening was the fact that this... Oh, and then this is now open, so I'm going to have to move some of the stuff up here to make... And this is my next project. I will give you a spoiler alert. I ended up opening that up during January, so expect to see that appearing in the January update video. I'm drinking some water because that's always good for you. None of this other crap. But I believe this might be my last backpack to craft during this time. Yeah, it is. Okay, so once this is done, we're all good. But now getting these resources. The reason why it's taken so long is because I needed Reggie. Okay, and this is the last thing. It's cookie time. I don't know why it's called It's Cookie Time when the reward is make a monster kiosk. Had it be the abandoned gingerbread house, it would make sense. But okay, nice. And I think now we're going to find the conclusion to the story, and I feel like how this ended was pretty much. I think I liked how this whole story ended up wrapping itself up. So let's see what ended up happening with Slappy and his brother here.
Slappy, it's you. Hey, listen. That made you make me do it. You know I wouldn't let anything bad happen to Horrortown without your permission. Oh, don't worry, brother. You did so well. In fact, I decided to bring you a little present. Wow!
Oh, look, it's the backpack that gave everyone nightmares.
Our Christmas sneaking is finally complete. And while Slappy might look tough, he's actually a real sweet...
Finish that writing, Curly, and I'll give you something much worse.
Yay! Good ending. Oh, man. Wasn't that worth it, guys? Wasn't that worth it to see that one picture of the backpack? Man, that was so good. Yeah, so now everything's said and done. So all I have to do now is get the actual item, which I actually do have enough. So now I can always focus on characters doing the, like for this one's going to be making it rain. And then I can have Santa do the other action, which is a 12-hour task. So 4 minutes, this is the end result. I got all the items for, need one more. Right, 4 days, and I need one more of this. 3 days left. 3 odd days left and some hours. And after he's done shooting money all over the place, I don't know how rich this guy is. He must have conned a lot of people during the... You know, think of the lore about this. It's just making me go all over the place. But yeah, I think after I click on Reggie and then Santa Claus here, which is... Oh, wait, no, I got all the items right now, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Oh, boy, look at that! 7 of the shop to drop hypnotizers, 5 of the big refunds, 9 of the Laugh-O-Matic traps, and 9 out of 7 of the heart attack backpacks. Yeah, do you think that's enough heart attack backpacks? I think it is. Oh my god. Yeah, but there you go. There's the grand prize. Look at it. Look at this pun of a tree. Originally, I just had the tree design, but they're like, nah, you know what? I'll do you one better. I'll put it in a graveyard. Yeah, and the spooky skeleton's coming out to give you a Christmas present. What's inside? Who knows? I think I ended this off with, Oh, I want to show you this right here. I think I mentioned this before, but if you decide to remove all of this here, like, you can remove this during the time, right? So... because I don't need this anymore, the whole like it's safe from everybody, right? I did a little bit too much, but there you go. Okay, so now I can't put them back on because this place is not meant to put stuff on. The promenade's not an area to place items in. So yeah, now characters can't go in the promenade. Now all this stuff is basically non-accessible anymore. People will no longer go to the Make a Monster, and the mall is forever closed, and the poor bastard who lives in that house can never leave because he has no road to go off of. Poor sucker. I don't know who lives there. Oh yeah, and this is what I designed at the end of the day. One thing I think I forgot to mention was I do like how they decide to make it look the Santa Claus with the moss growing on it. It makes it almost seem like it was like dunked into the river at some point and the algae grew over it. I moved the forbidden bunk to a more appropriate place now. Also, you can see the monster kiosk is hiding back there. And yeah, I'm gonna change slightly some of this stuff, but yeah. This is the end result. This is the new home for Reggie. Yeah, so there it is. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that great? And then the hand is just floating over there for now because I have no idea where to put that. And I believe Yeah, I believe I left some of the... I've left some of the items over here by itself because my intentions was once it gets expanded, it's going to go with the... Yeah, so I put this extra thing here for now. I think I must have moved it at some point, but I'm not 100% sure. But I try to put it off to the side because, you know, we don't need a lot of those. I put that there. I think I moved it to the appropriate Valentine's Day area. I kept the monkey. I left it there because I thought the auto thing, it would fit there. My intention is once I can get more land expansion for the place there, I was going to move this thing into the Mage Shift Horrorland background thing carnival. And this I think I'm going to leave here for now because this is going to be my ghost beast once I get all the items set. Oh, and I forgot. This is where I kept the kiosk, by the way. Why is it here? Who knows? It's right beside the house because it's as big as a house. Because of the ratio. Alright, so now we finally got the kiosk. So I'm going to put the kiosk. So we got like a lot of kiosks, by the way. So I'm going to put this one here. Yeah, because it makes sense. There you go. Look at that. There you go. Nice and nice all done. So that should be all said and good. So now 2 hours left before the event ends. And I believe in this part here I decided to just use whatever not cash, but any ornaments I got and try to just spend them all with stuff. Just items I think that I can use or decorate with. Because Lord knows that perhaps after this is the cell said and done, there's no way I'm going to be able to get this again, so... And this tree is big, so the problem is it's not like I can't fit it anywhere, it's just that it's going to block a lot of things, so there's that. I'm thinking also, too... You know, you gotta love it, too, by the way, that I was in the middle of a conference of something and then I moved on to something else. It's like someone with ADD. I don't think I do. No, I don't think I have that. I hope I don't. But I wouldn't be surprised. You know what? Maybe I do have a bit of ADD because I'm just sitting here right now with my feet just kind of moving up and down. Impatient, as it were. But, yeah, sometimes things like this can get you to do things quicker. I think I also decided to buy another HorrorTown sign because I like the design of it. You know what would be cool? I know they designed with the actual advertising to this event. Originally it was supposed to be like the HorrorTown sign, but, you know, dialogue and everything like that, so they decided to use that instead. But you know what would be cool? They actually decide to use like that as the promotion, so every time there's an update, for example, if the next limited time update comes in, that they change the sign's logo to that of the next one. I'm just saying it would be interesting, but okay, whatever. You know, it's what it is. But yeah, I like the sign. There's that signature yawn again. Man, we haven't heard that for a while. Man, sleepy. Staying up all night. Staying up all day, I should say. I have to stay up all night anyways because of work, so... Yeah, because I work on a midnight shift, mostly because of the pay, but also because of more convenience for me. Because it's either doing something in days, but I don't want to do anything in the afternoons. So it's like, you know what? There's less issues at nights, and you get paid more. So it's like, you know what? Yeah, why not? I'm a night owl, so that makes sense. I just don't have I just can't do a lot of things. I only have the afternoon. The mornings, I can't, you know? I sleep when people work, and I work when people sleep. I'm just selling as much as I can. And eventually, the event's done. But I did not get a pop-up to say, oh, the event's done, ooh. But yeah, no, the event's done, unfortunately. If I had that case, I would be able to show you that, oh yeah, the event's done, look, a pop-up window popped up. But no, it didn't pop up for me, so I don't know what happened. I don't know why I didn't do that, but yeah, there you go. The event's done. You can't. Here's the funny thing too. I usually end it off with the character being scared, like using the character to scare one more time, because of the fact that you can. They're the only characters that you really utilize to do that. But unfortunately, because Reggie used actual currency, I can't summon him. I don't know why they did that, but there you go. I'm still not going to let that go, by the way. So, unfortunately, I can't do that, but I can play with Santa, because his quests... I'm getting frustrated, by the way, because I'm trying to get to Reggie, but I keep on accidentally clicking on wrong people. Well, I got claws, so there you go. Yeah, so there you go. There he is, walking around. I did not want to click on that. There you go. You know, as you can see, they have nothing. And if you talk to Grandma, she has nothing too. I think... Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe... I think Chiller has some animations that doesn't use Avenge currency, so I think he at least has one around. Yeah, but yeah, when it comes to good old Grandma, she has nothing. She has to wait. When the update came around, though, she was able to have her quests back, and I have yet to have any of the quests before with our friend, Mr. The animation. This is the strangest part too. Yes, so I can't summon him, unfortunately, which sucks. I still have yet to see, and maybe I'm going to talk to the people about this, but I would want to see animations from, oh yeah, no, I decided to move this around here to make it fit, I guess, because I figured I might as well summon the Santa Claus. If I can't summon the Krampus, I can summon the Santa Claus at least, because he doesn't need anything, so there you go. Now he's going to terrorize people because Christmas is over and the New Year's has just happened. So, there's that. Unfortunately, but yeah, there you go. That's the end of it. Santa's just going to smack people around with his bag. Man, oh man, these videos are getting long. I originally wanted to put the review onto part 4, but unfortunately it lasted a lot longer and rambled on a lot more. So I'm going to put it in its own video, but it's not going to be as detailed as my other reviews, so keep this in mind. But I will see you in that part if you're interested. Until then, bye.